I don't think we've done a video recently that shocked us quite this much in the research phase. Everything is different in Disney World, and everything has gotten much harder to manage. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I'm here to tell you why Disney World is scarier than it's ever been before. Let me explain. I'm not sure if you've realized, but if you went to Disney World like, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, it may have been kind of complicated. It may have been tough to just sort of show up and have fun, but things are completely different now, and it's practically impossible to just show up and have fun in Disney World. Even super duper experts like me, whose job it is to understand Disney World and know how to do it, get tripped up and get confused from time to time, especially with all of the new changes. Park passes, Disney Genie Plus, there's no free Fast Pass anymore. Annual passes aren't for sale. And at this point, Disneyland is actually going to be charging people if they no-show to their park pass reservations. So you might actually have to pay money if you don't go to Disneyland. So what if that comes to Disney World? I mean, plans change, y'all, and sometimes things are not as cut and dry as they used to be. And I find that that's my experience in Disney World just about every single day. So if I'm confused, I can't even imagine what is going through the head of a newcomer to Disney World or someone who hasn't been for a few years. So we're going to hit up a few things today that are definitely going to trip up your 2022 vacation, your 2023 vacation, whatever you're planning for. And we're going to tell you the solutions for those things, how to solve those problems before you even experience them. That's what we're here for. Also, we're going to talk about a couple of things that we used to be nervous about and scared for in Disney World, but they've really improved the situation in those particular respects. And we're going to talk about those things too. So stay tuned to the end for that. Okay. What should you be scared of right now in Disney World? Well, a lot of changes and issues are throwing wrenches in your plans because of crowds right now. And I'm not just talking about the shoulder-to-shoulder crowds you're not going to be able to get on Space Mountain. These crowds have brought with them difficulties in getting park pass reservations, dining reservations, hotel reservations. Genie Plus can be super difficult to navigate. Forget about Fast Passes. So here we go. Those absolutely bizarre crowds have arrived. This is all the carryover from the 2020 closures and the 2020 cancellations. Everybody's coming now. So once upon a time, you could plan a Disney World vacation on a whim. You could leave plans up to chance. You could even predict when crowds would dip and when they'd peak. And before this year, we could almost guarantee that January and February would provide relief for the crowds. But 2022 has proved us very wrong, and that's why we're not sure what's going to happen the rest of the year. During those previously quiet times in Disney World, the end of January, beginning of February, we saw shoulder-to-shoulder crowds on Main Street USA, personal bubbles being popped in Pandora World of Avatar, people on top of people in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, major bottlenecking going on in the France Pavilion at Epcot, not to mention evenings at Disney Springs made it difficult to do all the window shopping we usually love to do because there's just so many people there. And the lines for rides were extremely long. We saw rides that usually rack up a 20 to 30 minute wait, pushing the limits with hour-plus long waits regularly. But lines aren't the only things we're going to worry about with these crowds. It is harder than ever to book dining reservations right now. Reservations book up real fast when the crowds are this intense, so you need to book advanced dining reservations 60 days before your visit. No ifs, ands, or buts, no questions asked. Even if you decide to book dining reservations a few weeks before your visit, your options are already going to be very limited. So booking a dining reservation as soon as that 60-day mark hits is going to be crucial if you want a larger variety of options to choose from, and especially if you want to get any of those super popular dining reservations, Ohana, Oga's Cantina, Space 220, Be Our Guest, etc. Now, you can book dining reservations on the Disney World website, on the My Disney Experience app, or by calling 407-WDW-DINE. That's 3463, but fair warning, if you're trying to get a really popular reservation, calling is going to suck up a lot of time because I don't know about you, but every single time I've called Disney recently, I've had like a 3-hour wait. So if you're going to call at 5:45 in the morning to try to get that reservation and you don't actually get the phone picked up until like 8, you're not getting that reservation. Now, is it also tricky to book Disney World hotels, AJ? Oh yeah, it's also important to book a Disney World hotel as soon as you figure out what time frame you want to visit. And with this one, honestly, y'all, it's going to be as far back as you can. Please don't wait on booking hotel reservations. They are going so fast right now. So if you're waiting to book a room when you can find a great hotel deal but none are available, you may want to go ahead and book the room anyway before they sell out. If you find a discount later on, you can usually add that to your current hotel reservation by signing into your Disney account on the website, clicking My Reservations, go to Modify Reservation, and see if that same reservation is available with the discount. You can also call Disney and see if they can apply it for you, because heaven knows with technology, you click the wrong button, suddenly your reservation's gone. And yeah, so you might want to call about that one to get that discount applied to your current reservation. And don't forget about those Park Pass reservations. Those are booking up really fast as well. You need to make Park Pass reservations after you purchase your park tickets to secure your spot in the parks. I even was on the Disney website the other day, and before I even booked a hotel, a pop-up came out and it was like, hey, did you want to check to make sure there's Park Pass reservations available for the time frame that you're booking that hotel? And I was like, well, yes, I do, Disney, because what a bummer would that be if you book the hotel, there's no Park Pass reservations available, you don't get to go to the parks. So yeah, check that Park Pass availability before you even plan your vacation these days, you guys, because if you don't, you may ask for the time off of work, you may get vacation time, you may take your kids out of school, and then there's no Park Passes available. You can't even go to the parks. Like, what a time to be alive. Can you imagine spending all that money and making those plans and just arriving at Disney World and not realizing you need Park Passes, and then there's no Park Passes? Yes, but I'm sure this is happening every day because people have no idea that you need to book Park Passes. You can see, I get really frustrated when I talk about this. You can tell. Okay, so check the park availability before you lock in the purchase of your park ticket, but you won't be able to make the reservation until after the park ticket is bought. So check availability, buy the park ticket, make the Park Pass reservations. No, right now, you've got to treat Disney World crowds like a judge treats a court case. Much like a person is innocent until proven guilty, assume your Disney trip is going to be crowded until it's not crowded. So go into your vacation planning with set expectations for those higher crowd levels. Listen to all of our tips about how to plan for high crowds, plan for busy times at Disney World. We've got a lot of tips for you. And if it's not crowded the day of your visit, then that will be a great surprise. So go check out our spring break video we posted not too long ago. Even if you're not planning on visiting the parks during spring break, I've got an entire list of tips and tricks in that video that'll help you find moments of relief from those crowds and ways to still enjoy your time in the parks, even if it's not spring break. And that's relevant whenever you decide to visit. Okay, next on our list is shortages. Yeah, shortages is a buzzword, right? These past couple of years. When Disney reopened after the 2020 shutdown, many of the returned experiences were very limited. We saw varied opening times for restaurants, condensed menus, early closings, and in 2022, you're still going to be impacted by similar shortages. There are times when we'll slip into the parks and notice a quick service or two has closed for the day. So what's going on here? Well, reason number one is those staffing shortages. Many times kiosks and quick service locations are still dealing with staffing issues, a lingering side effect from the global pandemic crisis. But restaurants aren't the only locations being impacted by that staffing shortage on Disney property. Shops are being impacted too. One of our reporters was visiting Disney Springs toward the early part of January and noticed that one of the shops had posted a sign on its door announcing they'd be temporarily closed because of staffing issues. There was also a time we visited Uniqlo at Disney Springs where the second-story escalator was blocked off for guests, and when we asked about it, one of the staff members told us what we'd already been expecting to hear. It was because of staffing issues. There weren't enough people clocked on for the day for them to open the second floor of the store. Now, as case numbers go down, you're not going to see quite as many of those staffing shortages, but with the pandemic still ongoing, you really never know what's going to happen. And after Disney laid off 28,000 people, they weren't able to hire everyone back as quickly as they needed to as crowds were ramping up. So you are still seeing some staffing shortages from that as well. Okay, shortage number two, merchandise shortages. Although staffing shortages are a big reason we're seeing so many locations marked as temporarily unavailable right now, there are other reasons. Disney might have to darken some of their doors for a day or two because of supply and merchandise shortages. Here are a few specific examples we've seen just this year. The gift shop Beverly Sunset Boutique over in Disney's Hollywood Studios had to close down because there just hasn't been enough merchandise coming in to keep them stocked. Everything's still on a freighter in the sea, and it's just not here yet. Tatooine Traders, also in Disney's Hollywood Studios, is a shop where you can build your own lightsaber at a much cheaper price than you can at Savi's workshop. But because of shipping and supply issues, this area had to become a temporary pin trading destination. Thankfully, this one has returned for guests to build cheaper lightsabers once more. The Droid Depot in Galaxy's Edge also experienced some supply issues with their packages. Instead of guests getting their cute little droid packed away in nicely themed Droid Depot boxes, sometimes guests have to settle for a basic Disney plastic bag to carry their droid home in. And you'll probably notice at many of the Disney shops that there are signs on more popular items that limit certain product purchases to 1 or 2 items per guest. These seem to be popping up more and more nowadays. Even the Epcot scavenger hunt prizes have been impacted by shipping issues. By late December, you could finally earn a Frozen holiday-themed plate, which those were supposed to be the prize for completing Olaf's scavenger hunt back in November, but earlier on in the festival, the prizes you could earn felt more like whatever Disney could get their hands on. We even saw guests walking away with a Mickey-themed mini kitchen sink, which is usually what comes with select ice cream options at various Disney World restaurants. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't take a kitchen sink, but it's definitely an odd choice for a scavenger hunt prize. Supply shortages have also heavily impacted many of our favorite snacks around the parks. Some supply shortages include cream cheese, chicken tenders, beef, and even plastic cheese. I think we're through that one, though. These shortages have either A, forced Disney to take certain popular items off their menus, either permanently or for the time being, or B, made Disney increase the prices for certain items to make up for the demand. Also, our reporters are kind of finding around the parks that there are a lot of items that are being restocked from several years ago. So it's almost as though they had some product from a while back, and because they're not getting new product in, they're having to put out old product instead. So we're kind of starting to see that a little bit, but I guess everything old is new again. So here's how you can brace for impact on the shortage issue in Disney World. If there's an item you're wanting to buy before your trip and you know it's in high demand, then grab it when you see it. Usually I'm the one to tell you to browse your options first and come back to it later if you really want it. But with the supply issues going on right now, we can't guarantee that the item you found is going to be available later on. So if you've had your merch radar on for a while and you find the popular souvenir of your dreams on that gift shop shelf, grab it. But also make sure you got the money for it, because you may be seeing some inflated prices these days, so don't put yourself in the hole for a souvenir. Also, take comfort in knowing that some of these items can return. We've had Ohana noodles be taken off the menu at both the Ohana restaurant and Tambu Lounge, only to have them come back to us with open noodly arms. I love that concept of noodly arms. And merchandise has the potential of being restocked too, as long as it's not a limited release item. If you're visiting Disney World and a certain merchandise item is temporarily unavailable, make sure to check the Shop Disney website when you get back home to see if it returns there. Many of the Disney World items overlap with what's on the Shop Disney website, which can end up working out better for you in the long run, considering that website does drop discounts and seasonal sales that can really help you save money on your purchase. Also, if there's a snack you're really wanting to try during your visit, try hitting up that location earlier rather than later in the day, because they do sell out of snacks sometimes. So the earlier you go and pick it up, the more likely you'll be able to get it. Now, if the snack you're wanting to try isn't available, don't worry. Disney's got hundreds of great snacks for you to try. If you want to learn about all the different snack offerings, just in case you need plan B, C, or D, check out our DFB 2022 snack guides for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Disney's Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. You can download those guides. You'll have hundreds of pages worth of snack reviews, details, and locations. We cover literally every single snack you can buy in every single park. We give you a picture of it, we give you a review, we give you pricing. All the information you need is in there. You can order yours and save money on your purchase by typing in the word YouTube in the promo box before checking out. Those guides are 100% money back guaranteed. If you don't love them, we'll give you your money back. No problem. We don't want you to spend money on something you don't like. And you can also check out our many snack reviews directly on the DFB website or through our snack videos here on DFB Guide on YouTube. Okay, the next thing to be legitimately scared of in Disney World is Disney Genie. Yep, Disney Genie was originally announced at the D23 convention in 2019, and when we first learned about it, it sounded nice and dandy, having a device that could help you plan your Disney day. That sounds great. But in 2021, we started to learn more about the details leading up to the Disney Genie release. And Disney Genie would break off into Disney Genie Plus and replace our free Fast Passes, and then there'd be individual attraction selections that cost even more money. Ultimately, this meant we were forced to say goodbye to that free Fast Pass system and start to pay for our rides on top of our park tickets. So you may think the really scary thing about Genie is the money, the fact that it costs more to ride the rides you want to ride with no wait. That is scary. But what else is scary is that there's a lot to figure out about Genie. There are a lot of specifics and nuance, and let's just say if you don't learn about the system before you go to Disney World, you're going to spend the whole day staring at your phone and wondering what in the world is going on. We've struggled with it. You would struggle with it. Believe me, it's not intuitive or easy to understand. So let's talk about it really quickly. We've got lots of videos on it, but let's talk about it really quickly. Just some specifics to help you out here at the beginning. For $15 per day per person, you can purchase Disney Genie Plus, which will allow you to book lightning lanes, which are basically fast passes or a way to skip the lines, for over 40 different rides and attractions in Disney World. Genie Plus was something we struggled with originally, not just because we had to swallow the price, but because of some of the technical kinks we were fighting against. So let's paint the picture. You can start booking your Genie Plus selections at 7 a.m. Unlike FastPass, where you can pre-schedule 3 FastPass selections before your trip, then add on more if you're able to use all 3 and still have time left in the day, you can only schedule Disney Genie Plus selections one at a time on the day of your visit, which is more like how Disneyland's MaxPass system used to work. Now, let's say you booked a return time for the Jungle Cruise for 3 p.m., but later you find a time slot earlier in the day that you'd prefer instead. You can't simply modify the selection you already have. You have to go in, delete the selection you had currently, and actively search for that new time slot instead. By the time you deleted your old selection and found where you could book the new one, that earlier time slot could already be filled. And if you decide to purchase Disney Genie Plus later in the day, on the exact day of your park visit, there's a good possibility that a lot of those Lightning Lane reservations are going to be completely booked up. That's an especially real situation if you're planning on visiting on a super busy park day. And what about individual attraction selections? Same situation. IAS reservations, which require you to pay per ride for those hotshot rides that rack up the biggest wait times in the parks, have the potential of selling out if the parks are busy enough. That means you need to start making those reservations at 7 a.m. on the dot to get the most out of your purchase and to secure a Lightning Lane for your favorite ride. Okay, are you scared? Do you get why it's scary? Do you understand? Right, you get it. Okay, so does anyone actually like this new service? Well, some people do. Some people say that once they got a feel for the Disney Genie Plus system, they were able to access more Lightning Lanes than they used to be able to with the former FastPass system, making the $15 per person purchase worth it. And you can book Lightning Lanes in multiple parks each day. FastPass, you could only pre-book in one park. So, how should all of this influence you, your decision, and how freaked out you are about your trip to Disney World? Well, in the end, it's best for you to look over the system yourself, find out if the pros are going to outweigh the cons, and seriously, I'm not even joking about this. Watch our other videos about Disney Genie Plus. We have made a couple of really good step-by-step videos that make things really clear and really obvious. We've got examples from the phone so you can see what it looks like. It's super helpful. And we even have a handy-dandy printout you can take with you on your trip just in case you need a cheat sheet while you are on vacation. We've got a totally free cheat sheet for Disney Genie Plus. So go ahead and print that out. We've put the link in the description of this video. Okay, so those are some of the reasons that Disney is scary right now. There's lots of crowds. It's hard to book reservations. Disney Genie Plus is very confusing and expensive. But let's let up on the scares for now. Let's talk about a few things you shouldn't be scared of anymore. The first one is not having options for late night eating in Disney World. Remember at the beginning of this video, I said Disney restaurants used to close a lot earlier when they first started opening back up? It really made things hard for guests who decided not to eat until the end of their park day, since a lot of the restaurants would be closed as early as 8 or 9 p.m. And back in the day, there were very few food options available in Disney World after like 10 p.m. If you're a night owl like I am, you were basically stuck with delivery pizza if you wanted something to eat late at night. And I know many of you have heard that I would regularly find myself buying a cellophane wrapped sandwich at the gas station and eating it in my room at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like sitting on the edge of the bed, like the most pathetic sight ever, just like eating this old sandwich from the gas station because there was nothing available to get to eat. So that's not something we worry about anymore. Thank goodness for technology and the wonderful world of food delivery apps. If you need to grab a meal after your Disney park day, but you're also ready to go back to your hotel and crash for the night, you can order with DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, any of those to your hotel. Now, granted, you won't be able to order anything directly inside the Disney parks, but there are still plenty of quick options in the Orlando and Disney Springs area that can get food to you when you're feeling peckish late at night. But before you order that Earl of Sandwich on the app, think about the wait time and how far away your hotel will be located in reference to the restaurant you're asking your delivery driver to pick up. If the distance is far enough and the lines are long enough, it could still take your driver up to 2 hours to get that food to you. If you're hungry now, you'll probably switch into hangry mode if you gotta wait a couple hours for a sandwich. So keep that in mind and look at the delivery time so you're not waiting like an hour or two. Also keep in mind that these services will include a delivery fee. And of course, you want to tip as well. But if you still have energy, then you can take a bus over to Disney Springs. Many of the restaurants will still be available after the parks close, so check those hours on the Disney World websites ahead of time. You may also have some late night dining options available at your hotel that will accommodate the late night park goers shuffling in for the night. Many of the quick service locations have potential of staying open until 11 p.m. But again, make sure you double check the hours on the website before you rely on a certain dining location to stay open for you after you get back to the hotel. I personally use those delivery apps a lot. The next thing to not be scared of anymore is not seeing enough characters. For the longest time, character meet and greets were temporarily unavailable, but later last year, they finally started to return in a modified way. Modified meaning no hugs, no signatures, and socially distanced pictures. But now the full-on character meet and greets are in the process of returning. Christine McCarthy, Senior Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of the Walt Disney Company, said that face-to-face meet and greets should be returning to Disney parks soon, now that health and safety measures in the parks are starting to change with these ever-evolving times. McCarthy also mentioned that the full return of these meet and greets will hopefully bring some relief to those long ride lines I was talking about earlier. Wouldn't that be nice? As meet and greets prepare to return to what they once were, you can still interact with these characters in their familiar locations. Princesses are rotating through Princess Fairy Tale Hall in Magic Kingdom. The World Showcase is featuring characters like Three Caballero, Donald Duck, Mulan, Belle, and Snow White in their respective countries in Epcot. Mickey and Minnie can be found starring in Red Carpet Dreams at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and even Kevin is walking out and about again around Disney's Animal Kingdom. Thank goodness, nature is healing. Now I'll link the full list of return characters in the description below that you can refer to while you're mapping out your Disney day. Another thing that we don't have to worry about in Disney World is finding food for different types of eaters. You wouldn't think Disney food could have the potential for being scary, but it definitely can be, especially if you're traveling with a group of people who have all different types of preferences or possible allergy restrictions. Maybe someone in your group has more adventurous tastes while someone else would rather stick with the chicken nugget lifestyle, or maybe someone loves everything cheese. It's me, I'm that someone, while another person has a dairy allergy and needs to avoid it at all costs. The great thing about Disney food is that there's something in the parks for everyone, no matter where you are. So here are a few tips to keep in mind if you're traveling with a group that has a variety of different types of eaters. Number 1, don't be afraid to split up every now and then. If a handful of you would like to get a little adventurous and try a Ronto Roaster in Hollywood Studios, but the rest of you would rather stick with a regular hot dog at Fairfax Fair, then do that. Split up and discuss a time and place to reconvene when you're done. If you'd rather eat as an entire group, try hitting up restaurants that provide a variety of options. Sunshine Seasons at Epcot is one of my favorites. It's able to accommodate a wide range of palates and preferences with its food court-like setup, and it actually has good food. It's not like bad food court food. And quick services like Columbia Harbor House can provide more interesting options like the lobster roll, and safer choices like chicken tenders and fries. Satu'li Canteen in Disney's Animal Kingdom is going to make you feel like you're noshing on rice and noodle bowls from another realm, but it will also provide options like cheeseburger pods that are basically a McDonald's cheeseburger inside a bao bun. It's delicious. And Disney's Hollywood Studios is getting better and better lately about providing a better array of both unique and traditional theme park eats at quick services like Backlot Express and ABC Commissary. For those with allergy restrictions, check out the menus for Disney restaurants ahead of time. Many of the restaurants will list out their allergy-friendly options that include ingredients like gluten, egg, fish, milk, soy, tree nuts, and peanuts. I love that when you're mobile ordering, you can see the allergy menus right there on the app. You can see all of the table service allergy menus right there on the app. It is all there, my friends. It didn't used to be. Like 10 years ago when I started doing this, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, how long have I been doing this? Those were not there. You could not get that information. And now it's all there in black and white, or I guess blue and white, because the Disney World website is blue writing, but it's all right there and it's so great. So when you mobile order at a quick service location, you'll be able to navigate the different options by tapping that allergy friendly icon, which is going to narrow down your search toward your particular circumstances. And if you don't see your particular allergy as one of the featured options, then Disney recommends that you place your order in person so you can discuss with a chef or cast member about your specific dietary needs. And this is also important to remember at the sit-down restaurants too. Most of the time, the cast member waiting on your table is going to ask beforehand if there are allergies or special requests. But in case they don't ask, make sure you let them know so they can help you navigate the menu and maybe bring a chef out to talk to you directly and possibly whip up something just for you. Now, if you make an advanced dining reservation, you can also make note of any dietary needs before finalizing that booking. If you're someone following a plant-based diet, you've got more options than ever. Starting back at the end of 2019, Disney stepped up their vegetarian and vegan dining game. Now there's at least one plant-based item on every single menu in Disney World, even at counter service restaurants. When you see that little leaf logo, you'll know that dish is made completely without the use of any animal products. These are good options too. You're not sacrificing by following that plant-based diet in Disney World. Our team has really enjoyed the Zucchi wrap over at Ronto Roasters, a zucchini and chickpea version of the Ronto wrap. We were pleasantly surprised as well by the plant-based lobster roll over at Rosie's All-American Cafe in Hollywood Studios. This is made with hearts of palm to mimic the texture and flavor of a lobster roll. Obviously, it doesn't taste exactly like lobster, but it's really good. Vegans will also be happy to hear that classic pineapple Dole Whip and Disney popcorn are both 100% plant-based. Okay, so Disney World can be scary, especially right now. There are so many changes. There are so many things that are different. And I'm not going to lie, I say about 3 times a week how difficult it must be for first-time Disney World visitors to navigate what Disney World has become recently. It is real hard. I'm so glad that I get to do this for a living to help everybody I can help figure out how to navigate this and still have a great trip and not spend too much money and not waste their time in Disney World. I love that I'm able to do this as my job. I hope it's helpful. But yeah, there's a lot going on in Disney World that's just exhausting at the moment. So please let us know in the comments some of your tips to kind of get through and manage some of the bigger changes in Disney World. I'm sure it'll be really helpful for our other viewers to see your lessons that you've learned as well in the past few months if you've been to Disney World. So a lot of scary stuff, but there is progress being made, especially on the food front and the character front. We're coming back into normalcy. We're coming back into kind of what it felt like in the before times, and that's good. But as always, be sure to stay safe and stay healthy out there. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.